Next up is RMI, which is Rand Merchant Insurance Holdings, I guess is the correct name of the whole entity. Remember, it emerged from the reorganization and restructuring of Remgro's interests in the First Rand RMI RMH group, but it is an entry vehicle with a very small number of staff, but substantial stakes in Momentum Metropolitan Insurance, that's MMI, which is listed. OUTsurance, which is why we're talking about them today, which owns roughly 95% of. But wait, it's got a 25% stake in Discovery. Whoa, what a gem. And then a bunch of other things that they've looked at, like a structured finance business and the likes. 61.3 billion rands worth of market cap. So that's huge, and it's big because, of course, those underlying stakes are so valuable. Price to earnings ratio 18.8, dividend yield 2.81. Herman Bosman has assumed the chief executive role, and it looks like he's going to be slightly more active. But just summarize for us the attractions of the overall business, and then talk more specifically about what's going on in OUTsurance, because, of course, that's why we're on the list here.
Yeah, so as you say, a bit of an investment holding company or investment trust, maybe, if you like, but giving you exposure to OUTsurance, which is an unlisted, very big direct insurance company.
Market share in South Africa, 10%, 15%, I don't know.
In the personal lines business, because direct is particularly very strong there, it's most probably a bit higher than that. Been unbelievably successful. Auto in general, as we spoke earlier, was sort of the player in the direct space, but OUTsurance has come in more recently, although it's quite well established and done really, really well. So it is a very good business. It's got a very strong franchise in South Africa. The name is all over the place, done very well, very strong underwriting, very scientific underwriting. Because it's direct, the insurer can control the risk pool, and that's the big attraction in a direct insurer.
So you can basically, if somebody comes in and they look like a bad risk because of your model, you can say, unfortunately, your insurance is going to be quite high.
Correct.
And the guy says, oh, well, I'm going to go somewhere else. And that's actually the outcome you want.
That's exactly right. So the risk selection process
Whereas
is very strong.
Whereas if it's coming from a broker, you think, oh, well, I better not tell the broker that his favorite client is a bad risk and I don't want him. That's the
That's
trade-off.
correct, yes. Although the direct model has its limitations in terms of penetration. It's quite hard to underwrite complex risks on a direct basis. Although technology is helping, and OUTsurance is a very strong user of technology, so it really helps that. We're talking about UE, that's the Australian business, and more recently in New Zealand.
How do you spell that?
UE, U-O-U-I. Interesting, with a little I, UE.
Or is that like some Aboriginal word or something?
I'm not sure. Although it's done quite well. Recently they spoke of the 5 sort of big insurance players in the Australian market, with 2 disruptors, both with South African groups in the disruptors.
Excellent.
One was the Telesure Group, and the other was UE, which is part of OUTsurance.
Good work. Good work.
Yeah. We're talking about their results recently, because they came out hot off the press.
RMI's results.
RMI, very hot off the press this week. A little bit muted. They were hit by the storms in Australia on the west coast from the UE perspective. So quite heavy claims, apparently quite heavily concentrated their insurance book in that part of the Australian world. But on the other hand, quite interesting 2 new initiatives, which, if you do a sum of the parts valuation, you've obviously got Discovery, you've got the MMI stake, and a sort of see-through valuation for OUTsurance. But the blue sky, if I can put it that way, with Herman Bosman, what he's trying to push.
What is he doing?
So there's 2 initiatives. One is a investment in upstart asset managers, and I think they've got 3 or 4 investments they've made, looking for the next generation of financial entrepreneur. And then another business called Alpha Code, or that's the division, is very much looking for the next generation of financial entrepreneur. Who will be the next Adrian Gore? Who will be the next Discovery, the next OUTsurance?
And thinking about it, if you were that kind of player and you were looking for big corporate banking backing, then you could do worse than contact these guys, because they'll stay out of your hair and they'll give you lots of money. They'll sit on your board. But they'd be a good partner, knowing as they are how it's all going across the industry.
Yes, and if you look at the First Rand Group, I think they've got a very strong track record of doing that. So
okay, but those are not going to move the needle now. Really, if you buy this one, are you making an expression of confidence in OUTsurance? I guess you are. What is the long-term plan with OUTsurance? Are they just going to own all of it and just carry on, or is there a chance that it could come to market?
Yes, there is a chance. There's been talk of that it will be eventually spun out as a separately listed entity.
Interesting.
So there's that attraction, and any holding company discount would be eliminated as a result in that holding itself, although I don't think there's too much of a holding company discount. And of course, it would give the minority shareholders in OUTsurance some liquidity. So I think that's some way off, but most probably in the medium term, that's a possibility.
I suppose, conversely, something like a Discovery stake might be spun off or spun out or bought back or something. I suppose there's always that kind of opportunity.
Yes, yes.
There's the share price. So is RMI a good way to have a broad-based exposure to the sector? Are you hot on it or not?
Yeah, very hot. It's a very nice, as I say, investment holding company element to it.
Excellent. And Herman, of course, is a smart fellow. Hot on that one.